The world has slowed so that you can rediscover yourself. You are never too old to set another goal or dream or a new dream. Hi, my name is Carrie Lane and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I like to talk about fashion, travel, and interesting topics and discussions. Today I want to talk about inspirational quotes, and I have about 10 of them that I found because we're in quarantine and we all are going through a range of emotions. Sometimes you're feeling stressed, sometimes you're feeling excited, sometimes you're feeling hopeful, sometimes you're feeling completely devastated. So I thought it would be nice to have something that could kind of keep us all uplifted during this time that can be kind of difficult and hard and stressful. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first quote I have says, "Never be a prisoner of your past. It was just a lesson, not a life sentence." I think so often we get caught up in the thoughts of, oh, I did this and I should have done that, or I can never accomplish X because I didn't do what everyone wanted me to do. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. There's always a way to move forward and be better today and make that change today that will then affect you moving on into the future. For me, this quote's basically saying that the things you've done in your past are not going to hurt you. Everything is a learning curve. I always think that the lessons that we're given are something for us to build upon, and that as long as we learn the lesson, we don't have to keep repeating the cycle. It's when you don't get the lesson that you keep having to do and deal with the same people, the same job, the same outcome. You keep seeing the same outcome and it's not a positive one. It's usually because you're not learning the lesson. It's time to start noticing patterns. Like, is there a certain type of person you don't click with? Is there a certain thing you do that self-sabotages? Like, if you're someone who's trying to lose weight and you're on a diet and you're so close to losing that last 10 pounds, which we all know is the hardest, but you find yourself right before you're getting to that last 10 pounds, you're going and you're eating out every day, eating fast food, or you're back into buying multiple pints of ice cream when you haven't done that in ages. You know that you're self-sabotaging, and you have to then think, why? Is it because you're afraid of being successful? Are you afraid that by losing that last bit of weight that you're going to lose the friends and family you have? Is someone going to have some kind of negative reaction? Is that what's causing you to self-sabotage? Or are you doing it just because you're comfortable in where you are and you're afraid of the unknown? These are things that we should kind of sit there and think about and internalize so that we can be better moving forward. As enjoy where you are now. And I think right now it's so easy to be frustrated or negative, but I think it's beautiful to really genuinely take this time to go inside and think about, who are you? What do you really want from life? And while I'm not trying to cause any existential crisis, I know people are probably having enough of those already, I just think this is a really great time to just sit and listen to yourself. Reevaluate things. What really makes you happy? What did you used to do that you loved? I went to an arts high school and I noticed that a lot of my friends who used to be in so many different performing arts aspects, most of us aren't doing that full time, which is understandable. It can be hard. It's hard to financially support yourself and be an artist. We all know that. And it is frustrating because that's your true heart, your passion. It's what you are the happiest doing. But I think this is a really cool time to sit and think, is there a way to make a business out of my art? Could you teach violin lessons during the day and then do orchestra the rest of the time? Could you somehow create a streaming service, or could you create a bunch of batch videos that could teach other people easier ways to learn the violin, or tips and tricks you've learned about music theory? There's so many things that you can do right now where you can just sit and think, this is a time to think about what really matters. I found myself going on walks and just letting my thoughts float. And by nature, I'm someone who kind of already barely posts when I should, but I find that I like to take a picture in the beginning of my trips or video, and then I do that for about 10 minutes, and then I enjoy the moment. I enjoy the people I'm around. I enjoy talking and asking people what's going on in their life and how they're feeling, because I just think it's interesting and it's fun. And I think this is the perfect time to really think about the people that you love and you find interesting and important to you, and see what they think and how they're feeling. The next quote I have is, "You will never always be motivated, so you must learn to be disciplined." I think this is the hardest part. It is so hard for all of us to be accountable for the things we do and say, and in some cases, like how we execute things. And I think this is a great time to get a really good regime down, whether that's waking up at 8 o'clock every day and doing a little work or job hunting for 2 hours and then taking an hour to have a nice meal that maybe you prepared with a friend over Skype or Zoom or whatever you enjoy, and doing that, and then taking another 2 hours to do more work and then think about other things you want to execute. Creating some kind of routine so that you feel like you have some kind of constant and stability. I think that'd be really great to keep up good morale during this time. Today, I choose calm over chaos, flow over frustration, peace over perfection, faith over fear, heart over hustle, and a line above all else. This I thought was so light and so beautiful, so I want to thank Natalie Bright, because I see your name is at the bottom of this one. I think this quote's the perfect one for when you're feeling anxious or scared during this time. You can just sit with your thoughts and be like, I am strong, I am confident, I will get through this. And if you're a person of faith, you could even say like, God has my back and he can move mountains. With him, I can do anything. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And you know what? It works. Even little things like you're in the middle of a workout and you're like trying to do that Stairmaster and you're just like, I don't think I can make it. I remember watching Adrienne Houghton, who's one of the girls off of The Real, and she even said when she was working out, she'd be like, Lord, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, to get through her workouts. But I thought that was so funny because it's so accurate. Like, even just the little things, if you need to call out, like, do it. Like, whatever was gonna get you into a good mindset right now, guys, use it. No one is gonna judge you. No one cares. Everyone is just trying to stay happy, positive, and healthy, and that's the best we can do for everyone. You are never too old to set another goal or dream or a new dream. I love this quote. In my last company I worked at, there's actually a woman who was in her late 50s, went to college, graduated with an architecture degree because her husband passed away, unfortunately, and she realized she never really got to go to school or do what she loved. So she went and got her architecture degree at like 57 or so, which I think is amazing. And so she was working temporarily at that company, filling in for another girl, and I think she moved on to another firm later on, but I just thought it was so powerful that she didn't stop and say, oh, I'm too old, like I could probably only do this for 10 years. Like, she did it because she wanted to, and it was just for her. And I think so often we get stuck on these tracks of, I'm a banker, so I'm only ever going to be a banker, even though I really want to like own a pizza place. And it's like, who says you can only do one thing in this life? Even if you're just started a job and you're finding it's not working, I get it. Try to give it another month. See, is this just a learning curve, or is this something I really want to do? Evaluate, and then you know what? If it's not meant to be, don't be afraid to leave. Don't feel obligated to stay in something just because that's what everyone thinks you should do, or, well, I haven't been here for 6 months. It doesn't look as bad. It looks terrible to do that. This is your one life, and you're not guaranteed tomorrow, let alone 10 to 15 years. You might as well chase what you love and try to make it work than be stuck with anxiety and misery and feeling the Sunday scaries and dreading waking up in the morning, instead of waking up before your alarm and feeling powerful and passionate and excited about life and blessed and grateful. That is so much more important. Your hardest times often lead to the greatest moments of your life. Keep going. Tough situations build strong people in the end. This quote reminds me so much of the quote, it's like, calm seas never made for a skilled sailor. And it's so true. There are so many things in life that like hurt you and rock you to your core, but your growth never comes in your comfort zones. And sadly, if you want to get where you want to be, you're gonna have to deal with some growing pains and a little bit of stress and tension and having to push through, and you'll find that you can handle so much more than you think, and that you can grow and develop into this amazing person in the process. It's how we react to stress that speaks about our character. If you're someone who gets stressed and you just lash out at everyone, you just step back and reevaluate and think, why do I do that? Why can't I be calm and say, hey, guys, I have a lot on my plate right now, and try to see if you can delegate some things out. Like, hey, I have to do 2 papers and this. Can you go and grocery shop so that I can stay and review and put my paper together, instead of, I can't handle this, I have grocery shopping to do, I have this to do, instead of lashing out, ask for the help you need. People are more than willing to help you when you communicate that to them. Stop shrinking to fit places you've outgrown. I cannot tell you how many times in life I have dimmed a celebratory moment because I didn't want to hurt someone else's feelings, only for them to get a great moment, and I've celebrated happily with them, or I guess wasn't as energetic as they wanted me to be and had them lash out and say, oh, you're not happy for me, blah, blah, blah. I was happy for you. I think we all need to learn to just celebrate our moments and not be afraid of hurting others. Just because you got a win doesn't mean that it's at the expense of someone else, doesn't mean that someone else loses. It's just we all go through different things at different times. And I think we all need to get to a point where we can just appreciate the space we're in, even if it's a rough growing period, knowing that, okay, this is a hard time, but that's just it. It's a hard time, singular. I'm gonna get through it. There's going to be something better in the end, and I'm gonna come out better for it. God's plan will always be greater, more beautiful than all your disappointments, which is so true. There's been so many times I've wanted something and I thought, pray about it, work on it, meditate on it, manifest it, and whatever I thought I wanted, He's done so much bigger and so much better. And I sit there after and I'm not only grateful and I say thank you, God, but I also sit there and think, wow, to think that I limited the greatness that you had out there for me when you knew so much more. Like, we really do have to learn to just be patient and trust the process and accept things even when we don't really want to. Always find time for the things that make you happy to be alive. Once again, this is back to my whole finding things that you're just excited to wake up for. Even it's the little things of just taking care of your pet. Like, I love my little fur ball to death, and every day I hear his little whimper whine and he hops up and rubs my face, and I feel so grateful to be his little fur mom. He makes me thankful for just being alive and remembering that there are great things in this world. And I think that's what we all need to remember. There are so many beautiful things in this world. This entire situation has taught me that so many people are friendly, so many people care, so many people can make eye contact and not be on their phones 24/7. And it's refreshing. It's the one silver lining in a very crazy, surreal time. And I'm very thankful that hopefully we will come out better, more empathetic, more respectful of each other. Then, last but not least, my last quote says, "The world has slowed so that you can rediscover yourself." The one commonality I'm finding is people are afraid to be alone with their thoughts. And I think it's because we have to sit there and really reevaluate how we feel about everything, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about how we're living, how we feel about what we want out of the world, what we want to bring to the world, what we want to do to make it a better place. And I think that's scary. I think a lot of the time we go to college or we go to high school and we're told how to think one way. You get to college if you do go, and it's like, life's what you make a kid, go for it, you know? You want to turn your paper? Cool. If you don't, you fail. Whatever. You are the only one who's going to hurt yourself in the end. If you turn this paper in that you didn't really research and you're not learning the skill that you're going to later on use in life, because trust me, you will use researching in pretty much every aspect of every job. It is a skill that you need, period. Like, no negotiations there. It's just amazing how every little thing kind of does go back to evaluating and learning for yourself what you need, what you want. And I think so often we forget that and neglect that. And I noticed even with being on dating apps, a lot of people seem to be trying to rush relationships, and it seems like they don't really know who they are or what they want. And while I do believe that you grow as a couple, and that's beautiful, I think you also have to be growing individually. And a lot of people are, I think, afraid to have to really think about who they are and what they want. They're just hoping that someone else will come in and be the filler, the whole other half concept, instead of going into a relationship as two whole individual people who want to be together but don't need to be together. So overall, these are my thoughts on a couple inspirational quotes, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you did, if you have any comments, any information you want to share with me, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear it, and I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the week. And if you like this video, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.